This is not about the bailout so much as it is an example of good writing. EMAC, a writer for Fox Business, and she says, "Dear Dazed and Confused, why not declare to the Federal Reserve that you and your family now face, quote, unusual and exigent circumstances, unquote, and that you would now like to register with the government as Home Sweet Home Bank. You deserve a break. You deserve some government money, just like every other sector now holding out a tin cup to the government, right? Why not? As the government's bailout keeps evolving, as the government's economic rescue squad seems to now be careening around worse than the Jamaican Olympic bobsled team. The part of the $700 billion bailout plan, the Troubled Asset Relief Program, the part of TARP, T-A-R-P, that would buy kryptonite mortgages and real estate bonds from banks, has just been torpedoed. Instead, the name of the game is to become a bank, to get a government capital infusion. So why not you? Given that Social Security and Medicare reform are so far on the back burner, they're off the stove. As TARP has slipped free of its sponsoring facts, and its once resounding authority has dwindled into so many solemn doodles on a government yellow pad, why not join in and become a bank? Why not do it now, since the government's escape hatch is going to splinter into smithereens soon, as the government is now inviting a traffic jam with an expansion of its rescue to include other non-bank financial institutions, such as insurers and specialty finance companies. They too could get a bailout under the watery terms of the government's $250 billion bailout purchase program. Sure, you'd be running through a very crowded door here, joining in a fellowship of juvenilia with the likes of GE Capital, GMAC, Chrysler Finance, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, and American Express, now hanging out a bank shingle to put an extra snap in their wilted yellow suspenders with taxpayer money because didn't you know that Amex poses a systemic risk to the U.S. economy? And private banks and insurers like Allstate and MetLife, which own thrifts, could be joining you in line. And once you become a bank, you would get to pal around with truly big cheeses on Wall Street. You'd be running with the wolves, just like you've always wanted. Like KKR Financial, the finance arm of leveraged buyout vultures Kohlberg Kravitz Roberts, which reportedly has said that the, quote, changing environment, unquote, was leading it to consider transforming itself into a bank to get at deposits. What they're proposing is that our children pay off these housing mortgages. Our children, our grandchildren, pay for the houses that were supposedly purchased by unqualified buyers. They're wanting your grandchildren to buy a house for the poor. They're expecting your grandchildren to finance the house for the illegal alien and for the yuppie speculator as well.
We were trying to fix something that wasn't broke. Mr. Chairman, we do not have a crisis at Freddie Mac, and in particular at Fannie Mae, under the outstanding leadership of Mr. Frank Raines.
The direction and the mission of what the GSEs had, which they've done a tremendous job. There's been nothing that was indicated that's wrong, with Fannie Mae. Freddie Mac has come up on its own, and the question that then presents is the competence that your agency has with reference to the deciding and regulating these GSEs. And so I wish I could sit here and say that I'm not upset with you, but I am very upset because, what you do is you give, maybe giving a reason to, as Mr. Gonzalez said, to give someone a heart surgery when they really don't need it.
In addition to our important oversight role in this committee, I hope that we will move swiftly to create a new regulatory structure for Fannie Mae, for Freddie Mac, and the Federal Home Loan Banks.
This hearing is about the political lynching of Franklin Raines. This hearing is about the political lynching of Franklin Raines. This hearing is about the political lynching of Franklin Raines.
Now free to speak her mind, Alaska Governor and former GOP Vice Presidential candidate Sarah Palin has weighed in, telling the Weekly Standard that she is getting tired of Paulson's changes to the bailout plan, and we're focusing here on Henry Paulson, Secretary of the Treasury. I think the surprises make the electorate distrust elected officials and their ability to appoint people who are to be looking out for the public's interest, she says. This is an understatement. People not only don't trust the government, they are getting angry at the reckless policies that threaten national bankruptcy and may consign generations of Americans to living under socialism.